Guys, the Chickens here, bringing you another Boom Beach video. In today's video, guys, we're getting into a sneak peek of Season 10. We're going to be covering everything, what you unlock at each engine room. We're going to go over the entire tech tree and hopefully give you some good information to help you get off to a great start for Season 10. Now, we are going to be streaming the start of the season. That's going to be at 4 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow morning, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for that. I do appreciate it if you guys use the creator boost in the shop, and without further ado, let's get into it. So, first things first, the first thing that we see here, 35 days and 7 hours. So this season is going to be about 2 weeks longer. So we're going to have a 6-week Warship season, which I think is perfect. Now, little caveat, that being said, sometimes what we've seen on the dev build doesn't actually turn out to be what the actual season is. So just in terms of the season length, everything else is, good to go. But I'm hoping that it's 35 days. Typically, when the dev build has been bugged with the season time, it's only been increased by like 2 or 3 days, and then we're like, oh, it's like a 27-day season, then it ends up being a 20-day season. So the fact that it's 35 days, I think we're pretty set to say the season's going to be 6 weeks, guys. So that's very exciting. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to solve a ton of issues in the game. Once again, hats off to Supercell for changing that. Now, the next thing, we actually have more loot per chest. So check this out. So at the wooden chests, we have 200,000 unlock tokens, upgrade tokens, and unlock keys. Now we're going to skip ahead. We're going to go to the stone chest, 220 and 12 keys. Let's go ahead to the gold chest, or the iron chest, 245 and 13 keys. It's not that much of an increase, but I believe it has increased a little bit. And then we'll take a look at the gold chest here, guys, 270 and 14. We'll go all the way ahead. I know this is a little bit buggy and weird looking. Again, it is all on the dev build. And then we go to the diamond chest, 34 and 17. And then we'll go all the way down to a legendary chest, guys. We'll open one of every one for you. And I believe it's 450, something like that. I can't open these because they're locked. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so that's the biggest thing. Those are two big things there, the season time and the chests being different. So let's get into the good stuff. Let's get into the tech tree. So it starts out gunboat landing craft just like every season. Now, I'm going to pull up the deck layouts. Now, what I mean by deck layouts is every time you unlock an engine room, the warship map opens up a little bit, and that's always different. So, for 2 engine rooms, here is what the deck layout is going to look like. So, we have 2 engines, obviously, and then, it's just a center ramp, nothing too crazy. But the biggest thing there is the troops that we have to unlock. So we don't get heavies right off the bat. We do get riflemen, but we also have grenadiers, which is going to make things really interesting. So the thing, I'm kind of leaning towards riflemen because grenadiers, obviously they're going to full clear, but so are riflemen likely once we take a look at these defenses that we have. But the trade-off is grenadiers are going to be a lot more slow. So, I mean, we'll probably need both of them for this first little bit, and they're cheap upgrades, but I would probably lean towards riflemen. Swarm attacks, they're probably going to be your best bet because look at the defenses that we have here. So we have sniper towers, mortars, mines, troop health, but the biggest thing is we have flares. So the mines aren't going to be as powerful because we have flares to move our troops around a little bit, which it makes a huge difference. So at the multi-node, we have a choice between mortars, snipers, and machine guns. I went with mortars because, mortars are going to be able to clip grenadiers on certain angles, and obviously they're going to do that splash damage that we're going to need to counter the riflemen. So that's how it opens up. We do have flamethrowers as well. So I mean, there are some counters to riflemen in there. Again, we do have flares, so that makes a pretty big difference. Maybe a mix of rifles and grens is going to be probably the best there. So moving on to the third engine. So we'll show you guys the deck for 3 engines right here, and here's how it looks. So when we get to the third engine, it's nothing much really changes. We still have the same ramp. And yeah, it just looks like it's going to be a base race this whole season. So, I mean, spreading out the ERs is probably going to be the way to go, like we've done here in this image. And there's nothing really else pertinent to show you there. So, and then we have our first hero choice, Brick. I think the best choice is probably going to be to surpass Brick. Go along the edge, get the building damage, get the shock bombs, get the cannons, because you want to get to heavies first, because heavies are going to be faster. They're going to blast through all of these defenses that we've seen so far. We do have boom cannons to unlock, but the trade-off there is the people that get boom cannons early They might not have heavies. Well, actually, it's kind of at the same time, so they'll probably have heavies as well. But yeah, so getting to heavies right off the bat, once you get to the third engine, is probably going to be your best bet. And then I'm going to hold out, I think, and wait until I can get Kavan and get that second wind going, because Kavan with second wind, we've seen season in, season out, is by far one of the best heroes that you can get. Now, Brick could be viable with heavies if it turns into another heavy rush meta, which is kind of what it looks like. But I think holding out for Kavan is going to be the better choice in the long run, especially because, guys, it's a longer season. So it's not like the last couple seasons where it's like whatever works right now is what you need to get. We can kind of plan ahead a little bit for the future with our unlocks and our upgrades. And I think that's going to be really important for this season to not play it like the last couple seasons where you're hoarding all your keys and your upgrades because you got to get that effective tech and it's only good for 16 hours. We're going to see with the longer season, the things that you upgrade are going to be effective for at least a day or two, which still doesn't sound like much, but compared to what it's been, that's a big difference. So moving on to the fourth engine. So we'll show you the four engine deck. A little bit bigger. Ramp moves off to the right side, and I think a couple variations are going to be key here. So I've got the engines kind of spread out, but I think one engine on the right side, one engine on the far left side, and then two engines kind of staggered in the middle with like a cluster of defenses around them. That's probably going to be the meta for four engines. Just because, you know, your defenses are starting to get more... We're starting to get better defenses. We're starting to get some prototypes. We have the building damage, and then I believe we have another statue node within the 4 ERs. We don't, but it's okay because we have shock launchers, and overall the defense is... Oh, we do have the building health right there. So yeah, that's, you know, that's going to be where it goes from wide open heavy rushes to more condensed, and you have more defenses. But guys, this whole season, there's not great defenses, and there's not great prototypes, which is the biggest thing. So at this multi-node, we have mines, machine guns, and sniper towers. You know, that's not a huge one. But over here, more importantly, we have our first prototype selection. Notice that they're all, or that they're level 1 and level 2, so they're not that powerful. I would probably go with the Simos because, one, it's going to kill, it's just going to slow down the heavies a little bit more. I don't think the Boom Surprise, you know, it doesn't do that much damage. So I think that the Simos probably going to be the better bet, even though the Flotsam Cannon is level 2. We're probably still going to be in a rush, some sort of rush meta at this point, so the Flotsam Cannon is probably just going to be bypassed entirely and not have to explode. So then we move on up here, guys. We move on up to the 5th engine, and we actually get bombers before this, so that's going to make a big difference. So that's when the attacks, you know, become spread out, and bombers eventually take over. So let's take a look at the 5-engine deck that we have right here. So, pretty significant change. The whole top side opens up a little bit, and we still have only the one landing ramp on the right-hand side. And let's just take a look at the tech tree from here on out. So this is where it opens up, and it gets pretty crazy. So we got bombers, we got bullet, we got critters, we got rocket choppers. You're gonna have to defend your base against people flying over the top. So the engine that I have placed in the middle corner there, probably not a good spot. Remains to be seen. And then we got some statue nodes. I'll get rid of that. We got some statue nodes. We got the building damage. Warriors, probably going to be useless. We have our next prototype selection. Again, all level 1 prototypes. Not game changers by any means. The damage amp at level 1. That's useless. I would not be placing a damage amp. I would probably go with the laser at this point, because like we said, bombers are just unlocked, so the laser's probably going to, even at level 1, it's going to damage up and kill some more bombers and kind of make, might make your opponent make bad decisions. So I'll probably go with the laser at that point. So then we move on to 6 engines, guys. Let's take a look at the 6-engine deck. And here we go. So 6 ERs, doesn't really change that much. Comes in a little bit, and the map really opens up quite a bit here. We've got the entire landing on the right side is completely wide open, so that's gonna make paths interesting. Probably what we'll start to see here is more clustered bases, trying to just slow down and prevent the bombers from being able to just walk right up through the base. But it's probably either going to be clustered or a little bit spread out, kind of like I have it here on defense, just to slow down the bombers. Obviously, you're going to be losing. I think a lot of people are going to get a lot of chests, and a lot of people are going to get a fully upgraded tech tree this season, just because I don't think it's going to be that hard to get chests really at any point in the tech tree. I think, you know, full clears are probably going to become the norm. And it's going to be, like we said, it's going to be a lot of time battles. It's going to be a lot of base races. It's going to be grindy, but I think it's going to be fun too, because there's going to be a lot of unlocks and upgrades that we're going to have available. So that's the 6-engine deck. Now let's take a look at what we got here. We got some pretty huge upgrades. We got troop damage. We got gunboat energy. We got seekers, troop health. Seekers could be useful. They could be very, very strong this season. Now we do have quite a bit of gunboat ability nodes before we get into the heavy choppers. So by the time that we get to heavy choppers, it's going to be late in the season, but we could get there a lot faster because, one, there's more time in the season, and two, there seems to be a little bit more upgrades in the chests as well. So we should be able to get, we'll have a ton of GB by the time that we get to heavy choppers. So I imagine they're going to take over at that point. It's going to be heavy choppers and bombers, like we've seen in the past. At the multi-node here, we have our next prototype selection, and again, low-level prototypes: Doom Cannon 1, Microwaver 2, Hot Pod 2. I was, you know, if you're it kind of depends the way the attack meta is going to shift, but, you know, if Seekers are becoming prominent, obviously we're going to switch towards the Microwaver. If not, Doom Cannons are going to do a little bit more damage and slow down the heavies coming out of the heavy choppers a little bit, and hopefully take down a couple of heavy choppers in the meantime. So, we'll move on to 7 engines. Right here, we'll take a look at the 7-engine deck, and obviously it's going to be pretty wide open. Again, it's probably going to be similar to 6. It's either going to be completely clustered or spread out a little bit to slow down the... we assume it's going to be the heavy chopper and bomber meta just taking over as it does at the end of every season. So it'll be some sort of... you know, they're basically designed to counter that, whether it's clustered, whether it's a little bit spread out. There's going to be a lot of defenses out on the field, a lot of prototypes, and a lot of statue nodes behind those. So... and then we come out to our very last choices, and they're pretty easy choices. It's either going to be Shock Blaster 3 or Sky Shield. Sky Shield, probably lean towards Sky Shield if it's a clustered base. If it's more spread out, Shock Blaster 3 is going to be the better option. Another gunboat ability node, a typical mine node that we see at the very end of the tech tree. Regular, boom, and shock. And then we have the troop damage, building health. Of course, go for the troop damage first between this decision. That's going to be the better option between the building health. It's going to allow you to take down the opponent's base a little bit faster. And, you know, in this base race meta that we're likely going to experience this season, troop damage is going to be huge. And then at the very end, we have the Grappler, Microwaver, or Flotsam Cannon. We're going to go with the Grappler here to hopefully pick off a couple bombers here and there. So, guys, that is your sneak peek for Season 10. I'm really excited for this season. I'm really looking forward to it. Just the fact that it's a longer season, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let me know what your comments are. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section down below. And guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everyone for using the Creator Boost chicken in the shop. We are doing a giveaway for everyone that does use the my code in the shop. Just send me a screenshot on Twitter or Discord, and we will get entered in that. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. That is gonna wrap it up for the video today. Make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative. And we'll see you next one. Guys, chicken out. Back.